Namaste YouTube, I'm Syra and welcome back to my channel. This is where I bring you the latest in food, fashion, and fitness with an Indian twist. In today's video, we are going to talk about a delicious grain-free and nut-free chocolate chip cookie recipe that has a secret ingredient that's found in almost every Indian kitchen. Coming up next. So I have a major sweet tooth and I love my desserts, but store-bought desserts can be high calorie and have tons of unhealthy ingredients. Once you try this recipe, it's going to be one of your favorites. Whenever there's an event where you take a dessert, I always make these cookies and I get asked all the time about the recipe, and I am sharing it with you guys today. For this recipe, we're going to need 2 bowls. I usually get a large bowl and a medium bowl. And in this one, I have already put the chickpea flour or besan flour, 1.5 cups. And in many Indian homes, it's used for rotis, it's used for laddus, it's used for pakoras. Chickpea flour is amazing. It has so many benefits. It's high in protein, it has iron, it has fiber. We're also gonna need some baking soda. This recipe doesn't use baking powder, it uses baking soda. And we're gonna need 3/4 of a teaspoon. So I have 1/4 here and we're gonna need 3/4. So we're gonna put that into our bowl. And this recipe also, we're gonna use coconut oil. And what I do is I buy the kind that's already melted, and it comes like this, it's clear. And that way you don't have to heat it up to melt it and use it in recipes. I'm also going to use 1 large egg that it has been kept at room temperature, so I avoid taking it right out from the refrigerator and using it for the recipe. We're also going to need chocolate chips, of course, and I buy the semi-sweet kind because we are going to add sugar in this recipe. We're also going to use vanilla extract, some Himalayan pink sea salt. We're going to use 1/2 cup of sugar. In this case, we're going to use coconut sugar for this recipe. Can you hear Rosie snoring? Rosie, come here! Rosie. So for this recipe, we're going to use 2 bowls, and we're going to use 1 for the dry ingredients and 1 for the wet ingredients. I have done this recipe so many different ways, and the one trick that I have found is to incorporate the wet ingredients first and then mix it into the dry ingredients. For the wet ingredients, we are going to use 1/2 cup of the coconut oil. So we're going to pour that in. Then we're going to use 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then we're going to put our egg. So we're going to crack our egg and put that in here as well. And the one thing that I'm going to put in this wet ingredients as well is the sugar. So I'm going to take that and almost make it into like a syrup, and then we're going to pour it into here. And once we incorporated the wet ingredients, it just mixes so much nicer with the dry ingredients. So I'm going to get that going in just 1 second. I have to wash my hands. So now that I have my 1.5 cups of chickpea flour in here and my 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda, I'm just going to sprinkle in a little bit of Himalayan pink sea salt in here. And that's just going to give it a really just nice little salty taste to the sweetness to balance that out. And I don't add a whole lot. So I'm going to mix up the dry ingredients just to incorporate the baking soda and the chickpea flour. And now I'm going to get my wet ingredients going. So now that it's all nicely incorporated, see how nice that looks? It's almost like a thick syrup. We're going to mix it into the dry ingredients. And now we're going to make our dough. I don't add the chocolate chips until the very end, otherwise they will get broken in the mixture. I just wait till I have a really, really nice dough going first. This recipe makes 12 cookies, and each cookie has about 170 calories. Just remember, we haven't really added any unhealthy fats. We've added coconut oil, and that's pretty much it, and 1 egg. So what I've done is I've preheated my oven to 350 degrees. And one thing to remember about gluten-free cooking or grain-free cooking is sometimes you don't need to cook the cookies as long as you would with regular cookies. So for these, we're only going to keep them in the oven for about 11 minutes. We're going to fast forward all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to pop this in the oven for about 11 minutes or so. I'm going to check on it. I'm going to set my timer, and I'll meet you guys back here when they're ready. So I just took the cookies out of the oven. This whole kitchen smells amazing. Now, they turned out beautifully. What you're really looking for is just a little bit of a brown outer edge without overcooking them. The kids will be home soon and these will all be gone very shortly. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoy this cookie recipe as much as I do. If you guys have a favorite recipe that you'd like to share, please comment below. And please, if you'd subscribe, that would be great too. And for the latest content every Thursday, please hit the bell notification icon below. Thank you so much and see you in the next one.